Hey, good morning, church. A quick thought from today's One Year Bible reading in the New Testament portion, Matthew chapter 18. I have some good news, and some bad news. Now, here's the good news. The good news is you cannot outsin the grace of God. So Peter comes to Jesus and says, how often should I forgive my brother when he sins against me? 7 times? And Jesus said, no, 7 times 70. So there's a standard for you. And he doesn't mean 490 times. He means you just need to exercise unlimited grace with your brother. Now, I say that's good news, because the implication of that is that we cannot outsin the grace of God. If God's going to hold us to that standard, certainly the standard to which God holds himself when he forgives us is higher than that. It's higher than that. You can sin against God 490 times. He's going to forgive you 491. Oh, well, you shouldn't take advantage of the grace of God. No, you shouldn't take advantage of the grace of God. I'm not suggesting that we do. But the fact of the matter is, we all have. So it's just good to know that God is a gracious and forgiving God. He loves to forgive. He wants to forgive. That's why Jesus went to the cross, to make it possible for God to forgive our sin. Now that's the good news. Now, so here's the second good news, is that we can exercise grace and forgiveness with everyone else. That's great news. So we don't have to go around holding grudges and getting even and making sure it all shakes out fair and I get a fair deal. That's why we often don't forgive, because we say, well, if I forgive that person, I'm going to be a doormat. They've just taken advantage of me. Nobody's to take advantage of me. Then I have to worry about that, because God is the one who comes along and evens the score at the end if it needs to be evened out. Because what happened to that unjust servant who refused to forgive the slave that owed him a little pittance after the king had forgiven him that huge amount? What happened to him is that the king made him pay. So God's going to make sure it all evens out at the end. That means we don't have to worry about that. We don't have to carry anger. We don't have to carry resentment. We don't have to carry bitterness. We live our lives anger free. That's such good news. That's the best way to live. That's the only way to live. That's a joyful, free way to live, right? Right. So that's good news and good news. And then the bad news. And the bad news is it's that we better forget that if we don't live by that standard, then we're the ones who are going to have to pay. If we are holding grudges and anger and ought against other people, it just shows that we have not ever comprehended what salvation by grace is all about. That God, what God has forgiven us, whatever somebody else does to us, pales in comparison to the sin that we've committed against God. So we dare not withhold forgiveness. But that should be easy. It's easy. It's such an easy and free way to live. It's where you want to live and I want to live. Okay, so my grace-filled friends. That's what I'm going to try to do today. Live a grace-filled life. Perhaps you will as well. God loves you. So do I.